and a local police department using tax dollars to send what some call a controversial message.
That message, "In God We Trust," is on the bumpers of Stallings police cars paid for with tax money, 146 tax dollars to be exact. The mayor and town council unanimously approved the decals. Chief Minor Plyler says his officers like the idea of what they call added backup. But not everyone's on board. The American Civil Liberties Union of North Carolina says it sends the message that the government favors people of certain beliefs. Chief Plyler doesn't see it that way.
They have evidence that there is some disparity in treatment, that somebody from my department or any department that displays this has treated anyone of a differing religion or no religion any differently. I really don't put a lot of merit in their statement.
So our question of the evening, does "In God We Trust" belong on police cars? Let's take it to the panel. WCCD News Edge contributor Ashley Anderson, comedian QCB from The Call Up on WFNZ Sports Radio, and CMPD Public Affairs Director and former NYPD officer Rob Tufano. Thank y'all for being here. Ashley, let's start with you. What do you think? Should this message be on police cars?
You know, these stickers do not affect you. They did not affect you. They did not affect me. If it makes the police feel better, I'm all for it. They could put on their police car, "I believe in unicorns." I don't care. Right? The police are having an awful time right now, okay? And if this provides them a little bit of safety in their mind, then I'm fine with it. You know, the thing is, I really feel like we saw this on Facebook today, people going nuts over this topic.
No.
People wake up,
They were not on Facebook, not on my page.
They just wake up looking to be offended. They want to find something to be offended about. But I guarantee you, those same people who are offended are not offended when someone hands them a stack of cash that says "In God We Trust" on those bills.
A lot of people, Q, point to that, saying, hey, it's on every dollar we spend. "In God We Trust." Why can't it be on these police cars as well?
That's right. With the guys have no problem going to strip clubs and throwing them on stripper booties, "In God We Trust," and bouncing off their booties, "In God We Trust." And let me tell you something. Ashley is 100% correct. I mean, you can't wake up trying to find stuff to be worried about, you know? With all that's been going on with the country, the police officers and the civilians, there's nothing wrong with putting that on the back of their police car. It's innocent. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I commend them for doing it. In other areas need to follow suit.
So, Rob, what do you think about the ACLU's statement saying they're concerned that it might send a message that alienates parts of the community that perhaps don't believe in God?
Well, it's no big secret that civil libertarians are going to have an issue with this, and some would argue that they have every right to have an issue with this. But I have, from a public relations standpoint, it intrigues me. I'm going to watch this very closely, especially with Chief Plyler. Like his situation here, dislike it. Regardless, you've got to give the guy a lot of credit for taking a position, sticking to that position, despite some fallout from the community. And there's some fallout from the community. But I think this is exactly what society's clamoring for these days. Someone who's going to make a pretty hard decision, may not be the most politically correct decision, stick with that decision steadfastly, despite what the fallout is. If he's unapologetic for it, I'd be real interested to see where this thing goes, if this gets any additional traction, and if he's going to stick to his proverbial guns on this one.
Yeah.
Plyler.
And the Union County Sheriff's Office also telling me tonight, Sheriff Kathy himself telling me, yeah, we're also putting these stickers on our about 250 patrol cars, and that will be finished by the beginning of the week. Also, one of the things I wanted to point out, I asked Chief Plyler, if an officer came to him and said, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, what would you do? And he said, no problem. It comes off the car. He or she doesn't have to drive that patrol car with it.
And I think that's an important point, right? Because I think that's what people are concerned about. Oh, it's going to offend someone who doesn't believe. Well, the only person that it would affect would be the officer who's serving, and he's made an allocation for that.
And by all accounts, it sounds like, at least according to the piece you had earlier, overwhelmingly support, at least as officers, the rank and file, the decision that he made.
Yes.
And I commend the police department for taking a stand and doing something positive like this with all the negativity that's going on. So I can't fathom why people have a problem with it. I understand, but I just can't understand it from that standpoint where with all the negative stuff going on, you have something bad to
Well,
say
if you
about
need
it.
any clarification, go to my Facebook page, because everybody on there is happy to explain it to you.
Oh, okay, exactly.
Yeah, it's catching a lot of fire. And you know, it was the Congress who adopted this as our national motto back in the 50s. If it's good enough to be on the currency, some would argue there's nothing wrong with having it right there on the patrol cars.
So I asked you about this earlier, and I wanted to know if CMPD was considering doing this, and you said right now, at this point, no. Is it something that CMPD, do you think, would consider?
I will tell you that working with Chief Putney as closely as I do, and a lot of his executives, a lot of them are devout Christians, unapologetic Christians, very faith-based individuals. I can tell you that there's other priorities that they're working on right now, and this isn't something that's on the table as far as the conversation goes.
Does it change or impact the conversation for you in the Union County Sheriff's Office instance? From what I understand, from what Chief Plyler has told me, a local church raised those funds and donated that to the Sheriff's Office to spend the money on those decals. In the Stallings Police Department's scenario, the town paid for this, meaning taxpayer dollars paid for this. It was $146, which is certainly not an exorbitant cost by any stretch of the imagination. Does that change it for you at all? Should it have been a private donation, or are you okay with it being public money? Just asking. Just asking.
I love that it's a private donation. I think that just sort of it separates things a little bit more. So I would prefer to be a private donation, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way it was donated, and it's not a Confederate flag; it's a decal that said "In God We Trust." So you just need to calm down on it.
All right,
Yeah,
Rob,
I
final
think
thought
it
to you.
takes some of the steam out of the argument from the civil libertarians. It's not tax money that they're using for it. It's from a private donation, and I think it takes some of the steam out of the argument.
All right, we'll leave that there and move on to some other controversial stories. I can't wait.